but there were times I had to get him man-to-man.
And your favorite team that you guys love to face in your division?
Yours.
Yes, sir.
It's actually games like we play against the Raiders, you might get 3 sacks when they had Jamarcus Russell, which I did.
Mm-hmm.
So I got 3 sacks on them. I got 3 sacks on them in the first half, right?
Yeah.
And I'm ready, and they take Tommy Maddox.
No. Yeah, no, there's absolutely no way. All right, guys, let's just get right into it here. So obviously the breakdown here in Austin was kind enough to make us this graphic here that kind of showcased the AFC West division and specifically the amount of picks that we had. Of course, the Raiders had 10, then you have the Chiefs, Chargers. Chargers ended up with, I think, 8, if I'm not mistaken. They started the day with only 5. So they got a lot in return with a couple of trades. And then the Broncos, of course, having 7 picks. Again, a couple of draft day trades that gave them a couple extra picks because I don't think you guys had very many going into the draft and certainly no first-round picks. But Austin, I'll kick it off with you. How did you feel your Chiefs did with the picks that they had and in the rounds that you guys got your players? How did you feel about it?
Yeah, I think it's always funny looking on social media on some of the fans because it's wild that no matter how well you think the draft went, you're not going to make everyone happy, which is wild. Because to me, especially after that first night, I was stoked. I mean, we walked away with the number 1 corner and the number 1, number 2 defensive tackle, depending on the rankings you looked at. So I was excited. I saw a lot of people. I didn't want to get into a lot of arguments or anything on there, but it's like, they don't waste any draft capital helping Mahomes. And I had to remind them we have a first-round receiver, a second-round receiver, first-round left tackle, second-round center, second-round left guard, third-round tight end. So you can't say we haven't spent draft capital to help him. I think what hurts the Chiefs last year was those one-possession games. And in those one-possession games, it's getting off the field defensively, which is pass rush, essentially, but just defense in general. So we added to the cornerback room. We added to the D-line. We did get a couple weapons in the later rounds. So honestly, I like the draft. I like how it went for the Chiefs. The only one that's questionable really is taking the quarterback in the 7th round. I mean, I know Mahomes hasn't, maybe lived up to standards the last few years, but I don't think there's any reason to bring in competition. And just as a joke, it won't be. I don't think it'll be competition. But again, if the Chiefs had, Nussmeier as like a 3rd-round grade, and he's sitting there and you're picking at what was like 246 or whatever, you just seem like that's a great value, right? So why not? It's a 7th-round pick. But other than that, I like it. I think we waited a little longer on the edge. But that's just because I think Pete Wood's at 29. We weren't expecting that. So you kind of just take it. But all in all, I love the Chiefs draft. I obviously love the attack defense. I think that was the main issue last year. And it looks like the front office kind of agreed.
Yeah. Corey, what were your initial thoughts when you saw our AFC West rivals draft picks?
Yeah, again, I said from the beginning I didn't want the Chiefs to get Caleb down, so they didn't get Caleb down, so I really don't care about the rest of their draft. Like, we'll talk more about it later. I mean, they got what I feel like they did. You can see by the first, 4 picks right there, defense. They knew what they needed. 2 corners. Canada's not going to be one to sleep on. He'll get some run. He's a very athletic corner. Just looking at the tape and the highlights of him, he's very prototypical of what Spags looks for in a corner. He has good recognition, good recovery. So that's one that, yes, it may be down there in the middle of their draft, but don't sleep on that one. And then the one that really stands out is the Emmett Johnson one, the running back from Nebraska, because originally Denver fans and me included were kind of looking at Emmett Johnson as an option for us. And obviously we went Jonah Coleman, so the Chiefs went with Johnson. He's going to compete for some carries here. Now we know it's Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker is going to do his thing, but now you put a little competition with Rashad Smith, with DeMarcado. So it wouldn't surprise me if Johnson gets a little bit of a run too, because he's a very explosive guy as well.
Yeah, I would agree. I think too, but what's interesting is obviously the Chiefs had the 2 first-round picks, which on draft night we were kind of just like, man, really don't want the Chiefs to walk away with the number 1 cornerback in the draft, and also at the highest, number 2 defensive tackle in the first round, which, on defense, that's essentially what they needed from this offseason is two main positions right there that were already addressed. Then they go a little bit of ways before they get, Johnson and their 4th round pick. So I think that this is fine. I'm not a Chiefs fan, of course, but I think they found value in later rounds, which is what they're notorious for. And all things considered, like the 3 picks that they wanted to really hit home runs on, which is their 2 first rounders in that second round. I think Thomas is going to be a very interesting player on that defense, on that edge part. So we'll see. But